Already coming to you live from our studios in the heart of Victoria Island in the city of Lagos for the first time in 2026. You are most welcome into a new year and you are welcome into the first freshly pressed of 2026. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning to you, wherever it is that you are listening to us right now. It's 31 minutes past 7 a.m. on a beautiful Thursday morning. Happy New Year to each and every single one of you. This is hoping for a year of abundance, a year of all the good things coming our way. And hey, it's going to be a 2026 that we can look back on and be proud of. So I hope we are ready to tackle and enjoy everything the year has in store for us. Believe me when I say that I'm so looking forward to being with you throughout the entirety of the year. 2025 was awesome. Looking forward to an even better 2026. My name is Ayokunmi. Great to have you join us as you always do. You know how we do, and if you don't, well, I will let you know. It's going to be the news stories, analysis, and your thoughts and contributions as well. So that's going to be how we get things done in the year 2026 and probably even beyond as well. Anyways, joining me to take a look at the stories. It's a new year. They're supposed to be having a good time relaxing and just basking in the glow of 2026, but they are here with us this morning. The one and onlys, Mr. C and Gbubemi. Good morning to you, Gbubemi, and Happy New Year. Great to have you.
Happy New Year, Ayo. Happy New Year, Mr. C. Happy New Year to all our listeners. Praying for a more excellent and fruitful year ahead.
Yes, indeed. Mr. C, Happy New Year to you. Welcome.
Happy New Year, Ayo. Happy New Year, Gbubemi. Happy New Year, listeners, Lagos, everyone. It's going to be a blessed year. Let's not lean on our own understanding, but let's trust God in everything. And we'll all have testimonies to give at the end of the year.
Preach. I hear you on that one. Amen, amen, and amen again. All right, so let us dive into things. But before that, just to remind you once again, send your messages into us on WhatsApp and keep up with us on YouTube as well. The WhatsApp number is 0911 YouTube, we are at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can leave your comments there as well. Cisco Delgado on WhatsApp. Happy New Year to you too. I can see that you are ready, willing, and able. Wilson, Happy New Year to you as well. Great to have you join us. All right, let's get into the stories, Mr. C. We are going to start 2026, kind of like how we ended 2025, and talking about the big one for the 1st of January, the new tax laws that the government said, hey, it's going to keep on keeping on, despite whatever is going on. But some interesting developments here. The Vanguard is where the story is coming from. And it says that the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory has declined to restrain the federal government from going ahead with its January 1 timeline for the implementation of the new tax laws in the country. Now, the court, in a ruling delivered by Justice Bello Kawu, turned down an ex parte motion filed by the Incorporated Trustees of African Initiative for the Abuse of Public Trust. In another vein, in the Daily Post, human rights lawyer Femi Falana has told the federal government why the new tax law can't take effect. And Falana said that until the controversy surrounding the legitimacy of their provisions occasioned by allegations of insertion are actually addressed, the new tax laws cannot take effect. A lot has been said about the legal implications of this. And the court has said, yeah, we can't stop the implementation for whatever reason. Make it make sense for us, Mr. C.
Okay, I'm going to try. So I read this story and a number of questions went through my mind. The first question was, what exactly was placed before the court? Because this is something that the general public doesn't understand and doesn't appreciate about the law. The court will only decide what is placed before it, even if it is aware of material outside the court.
Okay.
So the court can only decide what is before it. So the question then is, what was placed before the court? Because I would have thought ordinarily that because of the many controversies, because of the still ongoing investigation by the House of Reps, that this would have been an appropriate time to issue an ex parte injunction. But then according to the news report, the Leonard trial judge was quoted as allegedly saying that there was no proof of any controversy. I can't wrap my head around that because
despite the fact that we've had documents showing two different things and all that.
At what point will the controversy be established? Is it not in the court of law? But the arguments should have been, look, postpone the commencement of this new tax act. Let us clear all the controversies. Once the controversies are cleared, then you can commence operation, full operation of the act. And I agree with Mr. Falana that until these controversies are cleared, the act should not start. Because let's marry a number of things together. The government is insisting it must start. National Assembly is saying we're going to regazette. What are you regazetting? What has already started? So if today is the first, so going by the posture and the position of the federal government, the new tax act has started. So let's assume the National Assembly now gets around to regazetting on Monday, the 5th of January. In essence, there are two laws in operation.
Right.
Which one is being followed? Which one is being executed? Which one is being enforced? And it beats my mind that it's taking this long to establish what the real issue is. It's a very simple matter. First of all, where are the copies of the bills as passed by the House of Representatives and the Senate? That's the first step. Those are the first set of documents you get. The second set of documents you get is what was transmitted to the president for his assent or his signature. Compare what was passed with what was given to him to sign. The third step is what was signed. Compare it to what was passed or what was sent to the president. If there's no discrepancy at all, proceed.
Shouldn't be rocket science.
This should not take forever. Assuming you have a team of even 5 or 6 competent human beings and you divide the act into sections or lots. Mr. A, take sections 1, say to 20 or 25, compare all through. This should have been concluded ages ago, given when the House of Reps announced its investigation. But here we are. And the government is going to go ahead. And sadly, it's no more local politics. The world is watching now. So investors are watching, right? We keep saying Nigeria is ready and ripe for foreign investment. Investors are watching. A controversial tax law has been passed, which will also affect them if they come in. The people of the country are saying, we're not sure this was done properly. Mm-hmm. And the government is waving it aside. What message does that send to the international community? Can we then reassure or assure anyone outside Nigeria that in Nigeria, the due process of law and order is properly followed? What's the hurry? You have 365 days in front of you. So what is the hurry to start on day one?
What are the possible implications of going ahead? Well, I mean, it's already gone ahead. It's started first already. What are the possible implications going forward if any issues arise? Because this seems to be a very unusual situation to be in.
So a possible implication is, let's use a fictional character. Let's call him Lagbaja Adiremi, right? He's given a tax assessment of, say, 500 million naira. Maybe it's wrong. And then he's given X number of days. Now, according to the provisions of the Tax Reform Act, which the government says has come into operation today, if he wants to challenge that assessment, he must pay 20% first. That's 100 million before he can proceed with his appeal. Now, lawyers have argued that's unconstitutional. You cannot put a price tag on someone approaching the courts. before he can process an appeal. Then another controversial provision says if within a stipulated number of days you're unable to satisfy it, they can seize your property without a court order. I'm like, make it make sense. There's a constitution in force. You cannot do that. So let us hope that sense will prevail at the end of the day and they will suspend. The president will read the mood of the nation and his handlers will advise him to suspend the operation pending the all clear given by the National Assembly.
We can only hope so that's what's going to happen because there is so much confusion at this point in time. We don't even know where exactly it is that we are or what it is that we're doing. But common sense definitely has to prevail at this point. Maybe let's step into the Guardian and talk about the NLC, the Nigeria Labour Congress. They've called on the federal government to urgently review workers' wages, strengthen security nationwide, and to implement pro-people policies in 2026. Now, the Congress warned that organized labor would resist any actions that further impoverish Nigerians. This was in a New Year message to workers and citizens by the NLC president, Joe Ajero, talking about how 2025 exposed deep socioeconomic vulnerabilities, but didn't weaken labor's resolve to fight for social justice and so on and so forth. How much fighting for social justice did the NLC actually do in 2025?
Yeah, sometimes I really just wonder, everybody, well, let me not say everybody, let me not generalize, but, we've come to the point where people do not necessarily take the NLC very serious. And, this is from the antecedents in previous years. You recall when there were discussions about reviewing the national minimum wage in 2024, and all the process that went around, there were estimates flying around as to how much the new national minimum wage should be. And when it was eventually settled on 70,000, there's a lot of hue and cry about how 70,000 couldn't take anybody home. A lot of people felt that Labour hadn't fought that cause properly. And to make matters worse, it was shortly after that, I think, that there was a petroleum price increment, which caused the skyrocketing in transportation, food costs, and all of that. So a lot of people were like, oh, so the government knew where they were going, but, NLC didn't appear to be wise to that. Now they're saying, that they're ready to champion people's rights. Government should do better for the year, blah, blah, blah. They're also calling for a review of the national minimum wage. But if we're going to go by, what is statutorily, available, the national minimum wage rather, can only be reviewed after every 3 years. Previously it was 5 years, but now the Act makes room for it to be reviewed after 3 years. I'm not sure if there are any processes that can skip that requirement. If we're going to go by that, that means the next review will be up for 2027. But looking at the way things are, shortly after 2024, the national minimum wage of 70,000, wasn't something that could take anybody home.
I mean, it didn't seem to make any sense when the NLC compromised on that amount at the beginning. So it seems like they dropped the ball right from the get-go.
Exactly. So when they come now and they say that, oh, they're ready to, fight for people should not ready, not take any.
Are you there, Gbubemi? Frozen in time. 1st of January and ISPs are already beginning to show themselves network issues.
Okay, so let me
Like I
quickly
said, the antecedents don't exactly. Okay.
You were frozen for a bit.
Okay, no, you can jump in.
No, continue.
Okay, yeah. So the antecedents don't necessarily support their view of the fact that they're fighting for citizens. So I really, really, really would like to see what it is that they do differently this year. Because there's a lot of trust to be gained from the people, and it will not be easy because, like I said, a lot of people do not trust in the fact that they can do anything. Their core responsibility is supposed to be to fight for the rights of the workers, fight for the rights of people. And we haven't actually seen them do this. A lot of people are suspicious of their moves all of the time. When they enter into negotiations with government, people are not confident that they will come out with results that will favor the people. Is it a negotiation problem? Is it an information problem? Is it a compromise problem? We don't really know. But we would like to see an NLC that really actually champions the people's rights.
Okay, so let me quickly jump in on this. I've always had reservations about the NLC, and sadly, in 2026, those reservations look like they're going to stay. Now, the NLC says it's calling on the federal government to urgently review workers' wages, and also warns that it will resist any actions that further impoverish Nigerians. Now, that speaks to a complete lack of understanding of how the process works, or a complete indifference. Like Gbubemi rightly said, the next minimum wage review is in 2027. Now, my question to the NLC on the 1st of January 2026 is this. If the government refuses, fails, and or neglects to review the minimum wage, how are you going to resist? Isn't that a further impoverishment of Nigerian workers? How are you going to resist it? What exactly is the plan? Two, asking for an urgent review is literally being like the ostrich with the head in the sand. You can look around the country. Just yesterday, we took a story that over 14 or 16 states have to borrow to fund their budgets. So this urgent review, whilst I'm not saying it's not needed, where exactly is it going to come from? It's certainly not going to fall from the sky. It's not going to appear in calabashes. So where does Labour expect the money to come from? I've never heard them proffer solutions. It's always demands. I want, give me, give me, give me, give me. Give us, give us, give us, give us. When are they going to start proffering real solutions? And when it comes to negotiations, I've repeatedly said this, they lack the skills and the knowledge to conduct negotiations. They should hire expert negotiators. There's a reason why they're experts. And then, just to address what Gbubemi said, they actually are representing some workers, not all workers, because don't forget they're workers themselves.
True.
So I rest my case.
Well, you can rest your case on that particular issue, but you need to get up and let's talk about this particular story here. It's in the Punch. We're talking about the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, who, yes, he always seems to be in the news. He can't help himself, I guess. Well, he has accused River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara of reneging on an agreement brokered by President Tinubu to resolve the political crisis in the state. Wike made the allegation on Wednesday during a thank you visit to the people of the Thai local government area of River State, where he said that he would soon make public the details of the deal reached before the president. So many things jump out at me in this particular story. I mean, Minister Wike is an individual that seems to love his agreements so very much. But in all of this, all I can hear is our agreement, me, us, but really nothing about the people of River State whatsoever. But what do you make of this, Mr. C?
Okay, thank you very much. So the minister of the FCT, sadly, for a lot of right-thinking lawyers, is a lawyer. He's not just a lawyer, he's a senior lawyer and a member of the body of benchers, the highest body in the legal profession. So it's always disappointing and saddening to hear him talk like this. Now, he refers to a meeting in June, a tripartite meeting between his good self, the current governor of River State, and the president. And he says, according to him again, there was an agreement reached. Now, he's the only one alleging a breach. Remember, he's not the only party to this agreement. There are two other parties. So he would need the president to support him on this allegation of breach. Now, if, according to him, one of his slogans or mantras is agreement is agreement, fantastic. Being a senior lawyer, we know under Nigerian law, even oral contracts are enforceable. Proceed to court. Because what you're alleging basically is a breach of an agreement. Proceed to court. Put down your particulars, and the court will decide one way or the other. Now, what Mr. Wike fails to realize is he's not the first person to install a governor in office. He's not the first. He won't be the last. Senator Shomole literally installed the Light of Edo. But he doesn't stress that one the way Wike stresses Mr. Fubara. Wike wants everything to revolve around him. Now, Fubara executed a master stroke. He defected to the APC. Now, in Rivers State, Fubara calls himself 001, meaning he's number one. Mr. Wike says no. And remember, officially, Mr. Wike is still in PDP.
Mm.
Now, in Delta State and Enugu State, when the governors defected from PDP into ABC, they became the number one guys, even though they were serving ministers in the APC for those states.
Right.
Now, Mr. Wike's threat to disclose the details of that message, he won't. It's just noise. He cannot try it. And he needs to make peace with the fact that Fubara is the governor, and he's been told repeatedly by Mr. Tinubu to respect Fubara as a governor. Save your ammunition and your gunpowder. Come election day for the 2027 elections, prove your strength. Now, he must also read the room or learn to read the room. Fubara has since signed a separate agreement, or has reached an agreement with the president that excludes Mr. Wike. So Mr. Wike may soon realize he has overplayed his hand and is no longer useful to the president. Because if the president drops him as minister, because really and truly, what does Mr. President need him for in 2026? Certainly not to win an election. Because with federal might, federal resources, Fubara can deliver Rivers. So outside Rivers State, what is Wike delivering from Mr. Tinubu?
That's an interesting perspective.
In the South, outside Rivers State, he's not delivering any states. That is a guarantee. He's not delivering any states in the Southeast. So what is his political value, really and truly?
This our politics of agreements is agreement, and whatever, looking out for whatever interest that they have, not even considering the people that they're actually there to govern, to lead, and so on and so forth. It's actually really appalling. And then this feeling that, oh, because one goes back on an agreement, I will use whatever influence I have to make sure that you are not voted back into office, as if it's not the will of the people to put said individuals there. It's such a sad state of affairs in our politics.
No, it is very sad, and it shows a complete lack of respect for the people. There's something I want to quote Mr. Wike. He says, if they like, let them keep all the money. Whether they have 600 billion or not, we have defeated people with money before. Ladies and gentlemen, interpret those words in whatever form or manner you so please, and you will then know what is truly driving this crisis.
As you said, I rest my case. Gbubemi, let us step into the Guardian and talk matters concerning security. Some numbers we'll throw around and we'll see. Now, this is the Guardian, and it says the military, in conjunction with other security stakeholders, neutralized no fewer than 20 terrorist commanders and their foot soldiers in various theaters of operations across the north in 2025. There's so many names here that I actually don't want to go through. I'll just go back to the meat of the matter. It says also during the period, troops arrested 4,375 suspects, while 1,616 others and their family members surrendered, and 2,336 kidnapped victims were successfully rescued. What do we make of these numbers?
Okay, so taking a cursory look at the numbers, I thought they were quite low. So I did a search for what their performance in terms of combating terrorism for in 2024 was like. And, I can see that it says that they were able to orchestrate the surrender of over 100,000 Boko Haram fighters, sympathizers, and supporters, and neutralize over 10,000 terrorists, which that's quite a significant amount compared with the figures that are reported for 2025. So I'm beginning to wonder, are these figures for the entirety of 2025 or just for December? Because, it really does look quite small. And when we also consider the airstrikes from the United States, we don't actually have any figures from those as well. We're not quite sure, how many, insurgents and terrorists were neutralized. Uh, I expect that we're still anticipating those reports. But over and above, like I said, considering the fact that, significant areas of landmass have been taken over in parts of the Northwest, parts of the Northeast, although they say the Northeast is in a much better situation now. Looking at these figures, like I said, it's really, really extremely quite low. You know, um, I don't know whether they consider this to be a pass mark. Again, like I said, are we sure these figures are for 2025 or just for December? The figures for me are not anything to really celebrate, considering the scale that we're looking at. And if these figures are actually for 2025, then, I believe that they need to go back to the drawing board because they have reported greater successes in previous years. Hopefully, the United States has now put their eye on us. Nigeria says that we're cooperating with the United States. Recall the Christmas Day bombing in parts of Sokoto. So hopefully we should see a greater, impact of their activities this year. One thing, I've always questioned is where, there was provision made for repentant terrorists, quote unquote. I hope we don't.
Okay, looks like Mr. C, just want to jump in here. I think Gbubemi is frozen in time once again.
Okay,
Like a slap on the wrist.
Ah, okay, he's back.
Okay. Sorry. So it's like a slap on the wrist. I don't believe you can capture people, they say they're repentant, and you just let them go, or um you now make room for them to join security forces and things like that. No, they need to be able to serve penalties for their actions. So I hope to see, much greater performance from the Nigerian army in 2026. Hopefully, majority of those areas that are under terrorist authority can be recovered, and these, insurgents can be swept away.
Right. Mr. C, I mean, in this story, they talked about neutralizing 20 terrorist commanders, among other foot soldiers and so on and so forth. Now, that is all well and good, but where are we on the actual kingpins in this whole situation? Because clearly there are those who are much higher in the grand scheme of things compared to said terrorist commanders.
that is a very good question, and sadly we don't have the answers yet. But it's clear that they're barely scratching the surface because until the strikes on Christmas Day, not many people knew that ISIS was in Nigeria. The strikes on Christmas Day revealed that there were two staging areas within Sokoto for ISIS. So all these local rats that they're arresting and claiming they're saying they're neutralizing, it's neither here nor there. All over the world, terror groups take their ideology, take financing, take support, take training from ISIS. If you tell me that, okay, we have killed an ISIS commander from West Africa or North Africa, then it will start to make sense. So neutralizing is like what the military does with illegal bunkering in the South South.
Mm.
They will always arrest the foot soldiers. You never arrest the true and ultimate beneficiaries of these acts of economic sabotage. So it's the same thing here. until you arrest someone of value. All of these are just sound bites or articles designed to grab headlines. That's all it is. Convince the people of Nigeria that you're serious about tackling this issue of terrorism by non-state actors. Sadly, we now need foreign powers to force them, to compel them, to coerce them into starting to take the matter seriously. Because before now, it's been politics. Now, and for Gbubemi, I'll raise you Sheikh Gumi, who says, don't touch them. That they're human beings, they are brothers, they are people. And that they can truly be, that they are aggrieved by government. So we should address their grievances and all will be well.
Address the grievances, but not address the atrocities that they have and are committing.
No, for Sheikh Gumi, God will decide that part. This is the part that can be decided by us. Leave the victims alone. Leave the victims and God alone. And let's protect these perpetrators of persistent and consistent violence.
Got you on that. Got you on that. All right, let me take your messages as we wrap it up this morning. Tayo and Aja says, Labour is always talking without showing working. Under 5 days and they're off to Abuja to discuss with the minister and end their protest. Wike, best in holding meetings and interviews. I wonder how long the presidency can tolerate his behavior because he's becoming overbearing. He's not only a lawyer, but a political scientist as well. All right, Ajay Oloninuwa from Magodo Jerry, Sherry, Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for keeping up with us always. He says, in a normal democracy, the implementation of this new tax law cannot proceed if the National Assembly is insisting on investigating the discrepancies in the bill passed by them and the one assented to by the president. Government must start the new year with due process. If only. If only. Leko in Lagos says, good morning, crew. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. It's only a tax and taskmaster that enters through the back door of INEC and judiciary that will impose tax on Nigerians in spite of the resistance by Nigerians. It shows that they get themselves into power by suggestive means, so they can never be accountable to you. So even the judiciary has certified it. Remember, they all said, on his mandates they shall stand, and so on and so forth. Long message as usual, Leko. Interesting message as always. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's 2026. Try to abridge them and make them a bit more concise and less controversial. Thank you very much for sending it either ways. All right, time to go this morning. It has been the first freshly pressed of the year 2026. Interesting start. The news cycle, it keeps on keeping on, really and truly. Thank you all for all the messages and being a part of the show. Thank you so much to you, Gbubemi and Mr. C, for starting 2026 with us. It is always a pleasure, Gbubemi. Okay, Mr. C, maybe you want to jump in here.
Thank you, Ayo. Thank you, Gbubemi. And Nigerians, let's go out. Let's be more intentional. Let's be more deliberate about our participation in politics this year. Let's make sure we join a political party. Let's make sure that we're fully invested in the processes that throw up the candidates and ensure that only the best of the best come out this year. And let us also ensure that nobody with a questionable background or unknown history is given the ticket of any party to run.
All right, Wimi, if you're here with us, let's take us home.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. So just wishing for a greater year. Like I always say, we are the people who can change the country. We have the power. You know, we need to realize that as citizens, we have power that we can use, and we need to also hold ourselves accountable to create the nation that we desire. Hopefully 2026 brings us a greater year, than we've had before.
Amen to that. All right, go forth and have a great start to your January. Thank you all for keeping it tuned to Smooth 98.1, 8:15. We'll take a walk into the grapevine. I mean, why not start the year with some gist and everything in between? James Silas and Oris will be on for that one. My name is Ayokunmi. Keep it tuned to Smooth 98.1.